Everspring's cleaning products. They are fairly new to the cleaning game, but just happen to arrive at the perfect time where more consumers are paying attention to what they're buying. For years, we've seen every cleaning brand claim to have the safest products out there that are free of toxins and harsh chemicals and so forth, or some will attempt to distract consumers with different scents to try and mask those strong chemical odors. But we can all still see or smell right through that. And that's when Target steps in. The Target Corporation has always been the retail store to put their guests and their needs first, whether it comes to their shopping experiences or overall quality of products. For example, Target continuously contributes to the well-being of society by donating 5% of their profits to the community and supporting higher quality and more sustainably resourced goods in their stores. With Target's privately owned brands, the company is able to personally reach consumers with their own products the way that they see fit. In Everspring's case, Target is able to provide their shoppers with a line of bio-based cleaning supplies that are good for the environment, but even better for their homes themselves. Consumers will be pleased to find a product that's actually made with natural ingredients that's still able to disinfect their homes. And those shoppers that look for something eco-friendly will be satisfied knowing that Everspring products aren't tested on animals and our bottles are even made with recycled materials. And let's face it, with those scents like citrus and basil or lavender, bergamot, which is my favorite, shoppers couldn't refuse a product like this. But even with the high-quality line of products like Everspring's, what this brand is lacking is awareness. Everspring was introduced only 2 years ago and only has a handful of short clips online that showcase their products. It's not really much. And since Everspring is one of Target's own brands, then that means that these products can only be found in Target stores. So unless someone's a frequent Target shopper or just happened to catch a glimpse at one of these Target ads online, then it's likely that they haven't heard of Everspring or don't understand what makes these products stand out from the rest. Which is a shame because Everspring has the potential to be the new alternative to those popular cleaning brands that are actually doing more harm to our consumers than good. People just don't know about it. But that's okay, because that's why we're here. Now we have an opportunity to reintroduce Everspring to consumers and provide them with a line of products that creates a better environment for their homes and planet. A brand like Everspring is ideal for those who are looking to make a difference in their world by making conscious decisions about the goods or services that they purchase, which is essentially many millennials and Gen Z. So, the type of audience that we are specifically aiming to reach are Latina millennial women ranging from between 25 to 40 years old. We are aiming for women of color because our studies have found that specifically women of Asian or Hispanic descent tend to appeal to more natural fragrances like mint or lavender, which, if it's true, then our audience will love the variety of scents that we have to offer. Our target audience is probably college educated and is likely aware of the many environmental challenges that our planet faces. This audience wants to do their part in preserving our planet by carefully researching products and making more sustainable or eco-friendly decisions and purchases. They take pride in the goods and services that they use and support and view these decisions as a reflection of themselves. Even though they may not have the answer to saving our planet and its inhabitants, they can still be part of the percentage that helps improve its conditions. By making the switch from harsh chemicals to Target's Everspring products, our market will be able to feel more fulfilled knowing that they are using products that are made naturally and still work and smell great. Besides worrying about trying to make a difference for our planet, many people within this 25 to 40-year-old age group find themselves stressed out about other factors in their lives, like finances, their families, and careers. Not to mention the fact that right now we are currently still facing a global pandemic and have recently witnessed quite a bit of political turmoil. Because of that, now they're concerned about the health of themselves, their loved ones, and those around them, as well as their job stability and how their lives may have been affected overall due to the stay-at-home orders. Millennials and Gen Zs already suffer from high anxiety, and stress is even more amplified in minority communities such as Black or Latino Americans. To deal with it all, many millennials have turned to self-care to cope with it all, meaning some may go for a walk, meditate, watch their favorite movie, or even take a long hot bath. Basically, engaging in any activity that betters yourself and distracts you from everyday struggles. That's when we bring Everspring into the picture, the new form of self-care. We introduce a young Latina woman at home who is clearly a bit stressed out. Her apartment's messy, her plants are dying, and pretty much any time she turns on the TV or looks at her phone, there's always bad news. A person's home is supposed to be like their sanctuary, but yet this poor woman is unable to find peace and comfort back at her apartment, and that leads her to be even more unmotivated and even more stressed out. The woman chooses to clean her home using Everspring's all-purpose cleaner as her form of self-care, and is enjoying the smell of the product so much that she even forgets about her worries and finds herself surrounded by blooming flowers and plants, including the ones that were already dead. She then snaps back into reality and finds herself satisfied in a perfectly clean home, and proceeds to throw away her old harsh chemicals and replace them with her new Everspring products. Our hero for this concept is, of course, the young woman, and our villain would be the struggles of her everyday life, and of course, her old toxic chemicals being a contributing factor. Fortunately for the young woman, her new Everspring products will allow her to enjoy cleaning and actually want to keep up with her home. Mainly because she enjoys the smell so much, but also because she knows she's making a difference by using a natural, sustainable product. There are two different ads that inspired this idea. The first one is this old Clorox commercial where I find a woman about to do laundry, opens the product and smells it, and finds herself out in a garden. Very similar to the idea that we're going for here. Another ad that inspired us is this ad for Gucci Bloom, a fragrance by Gucci. This video is about a minute long, but we can see that the whole world's pretty much kind of covered with wildflowers and plants, and even has taken over her home. The girls are enjoying it and just kind of embracing all of the flowers and its loveliness, and we're going to try and go for that same aesthetic here in our story. So the woman I'm envisioning for this project is of Hispanic descent, probably around 26, 27 years old, with dark brown hair, kind of like mine. But instead of it being long, it would be put up in like a messy bun. She just kind of threw it up like that. She's also probably wearing some really comfortable bedroom slippers, considering it's more than likely that she works from home. So a little comfy, casual outfit kind of going on. She might look a little something like this. Here, we can envision our protagonist frustrated in her messy home and finally feeling like she must do something about it. Everspring also uses a unique color palette for their products that makes them identifiable based on the scent. They are primarily light or pastel colors, minus the forest green that takes up the background and text on their products. And we will use these colors throughout our set, like on some of the walls, the couch, and even on our flower pots. So the story starts out with a wide shot of a young woman, Maria, sitting on the couch with her feet propped up watching TV. As we see this little snip of Maria, we hear the TV news anchor in the background saying, "The number of COVID-19 cases in the US continue to rise." From there, we get a close-up of the TV where we see the news anchor speaking, and she continues to speak when we get a mid-shot of Maria with the remote still in hand, looking pretty annoyed, where she lets out a deep sigh. Then we see Maria click the channel, and as we see her click it to change it, we just hear the reporter saying, "How will Americans flatten the curve?" And then it cuts off. From there, we go back to a close-up of the TV, where we see the screen change to a different news station, this time showing footage of trees being torn down in the forest. As we see this, we hear a different news anchor saying, "Our planet continues to suffer." But before they could even finish, the screen goes black, and you can hear the TV cut off, and then it goes back to a mid-shot of Maria, now shaking her head, very annoyed. So now we see Maria lean forward to set her TV remote down, and then reach for her cell phone from the table. And then we cut to a close-up of Maria scrolling into her cell phone, and we hear her start to hum. Hopefully she's a little more content scrolling on her phone. And then it goes to an extreme close-up of Maria's phone as she's scrolling, showing her social media news feed. And then we don't hear Maria's humming anymore. It just stops. And then we go, continuing in that extreme close-up, we see a picture of an overfilled landfill on her phone. And then it goes to a mid-shot of Maria, looking rather upset, looking a little bothered by what she just seen. And then it cuts back to an extreme close-up of Maria's cell phone as she scrolls into another troublesome article where the title says, "Scientists claim that climate change is coming sooner than we think." And then it immediately cuts to a close-up of Maria locking her phone, tossing it on the couch, and looking around her room. So then we cut into a wide shot of Maria's very messy living room, where we then hear the slow intro of Casey Musgrave's Happy and Sad playing. It immediately then cuts to a close-up of Maria's very messy, cluttered kitchen table, and then cuts back to another close-up of one of her dying plants in the corner of her living room, and then another dying plant that happens to sit next to her fishbowl in the kitchen. From there, we also get another close-up of the fish that's in the fishbowl, and he's just kind of hidden underneath all the fishbowl decor, really sad, not really wanting to come out. So from there, we continue to hear Happy and Sad playing in the back, where we see a close-up of Maria getting up from her couch, moving into a wide shot of her walking from her living room and into the kitchen, and then looking at her very sad goldfish. We then go to an extreme close-up of her looking in a very specific direction, noticing something, where it then cuts to a close-up of Maria's very messy kitchen counter with a grocery bag sitting on top with the very iconic Target logo printed on the side, so we know she went and shopped at Target. It then zooms in as we see Maria's hand reach in the bag and grab Everspring's all-purpose cleaner in a very new towel rag so she can start cleaning. And then the music begins to get more upbeat, and then we go to a mid-shot of Maria spraying down her counters and wiping them, and then it goes to an extreme close-up of Maria sniffing the air and noticing the smell of the cleaner. And as she's kind of smelling the cleaner in a medium-sized font by her face, we see 100% natural fragrance on the side, kind of highlighting one of the many features that Everspring has to offer. Then we cut to a mid-shot of Maria looking down at her counter and noticing that one of her flowers actually began sprouting back up again. She then goes back and looks at the bottle of cleaner in her hands, looking impressed. We then go to a close-up of her fish starting to peek out from hiding, and from there we see non-toxic highlighted by his side. We then go back to a mid-shot of Maria continuing to spray her counters, and as she takes a wipe, ammonia-free pops up on the counter, and then more flowers begin to bloom from the words ammonia-free. We then go to a wide shot of Maria in a very happy daze, entering her very messy living room, looking very unbothered by it all. We then go to a close-up of Maria's hand spraying down her coffee table, and flowers and plants are still continuing to bloom as she cleans. And then we see on the counter bio-based formula sprouted from that. We then cut to a wide shot of Maria surrounded by wildflowers and plants in her living room that have all taken over her home. Maria's pretty much still in her very happy days, walking around, enjoying it all, arms still in the air, taking it all in. We even get an extreme close-up of Maria bending over and smelling the flowers in her home and just taking them all in. And then from that camera shot, we start to zoom out, and the audience sees that Maria's home is no longer a wild garden, but is now a spotless, clean home, and Maria's actually smelling like her TV remote. And then it goes to a mid-shot of Maria still smiling and smelling the fragrance of the cleaner as she's still kind of finishing down wiping the counters. And then from there, the music kind of fades quietly a little bit, and we hear our narrator speaking, which probably sounds like a middle-aged old white woman to me. She is speaking and she says, "Taking care of yourself should be a priority." The scene then cuts to a mid-shot of Maria finishing down wiping her counters and setting the rag down. She's admiring her plants that have finally came back to life, and as she's looking at that, we hear our narrator finish with, "So why not start at home?" And then we cut to a close-up of Maria's fish that's now swimming around the fish bowl, looking super happy. And next to the fish, the highlighted words appear that say, "Also not tested on animals." And then we go to a close-up of Maria looking very impressed with her happy fish and her bloomed flowers, and she's just like, nice, like really happy. And then finally, we go to one last close-up of underneath Maria's kitchen sink that shows all of the generic chemicals that she used to have. On the bottles, we see like big words that say like ammonia, bleach, danger, toxic, stay away from kids. And from there, we see Maria's hand slide the chemicals out of the cabinet and just placing her new Everspring products in their place. And during that little moment, we hear the narrator say, With Everspring's simple solutions and sustainably focused products, you can focus on taking care of your home, yourself, and your planet. And then the scene cuts to pretty much a dark screen, the same kind of green that Everspring uses for their products. And we see the Everspring name pop up in the middle of the screen, and then a big Target symbol right above it, so people know that it is a Target brand. And then we just hear the narrator continue with Everspring products. And then the dark screen changes the words and cuts to the slogan for Everspring, which is down-to-earth solutions that are up to earth standards. And then we just hear the narrator continue to repeat that slogan, and that is our story.